I mean, if you're on his campaign, and I know you are certainly not, I'm not making any implication of that.
To our democracy,
He's a threat to our democracy, our sweet apple pie democracy, our apple pie democracy.
also the Harris-Walsh agenda is about the economy, reducing the cost of living, reducing the cost of prescription drugs.
We ain't heard one plan. Can't even answer our questions.
Reducing the cost of housing and making life better for everyone. And that's what we have to focus on and make sure we get every voter to the polls and make sure that the voters vote for the future, not taking the country backwards, as you see what Donald Trump is.
Now, and it's trending around right now for a reason, y'all. But oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. CNN loved it. CNN actually called Trump insanely smart. They called the Trump campaign insanely smart. You know, man, they love this McDonald's campaign stop. Let's go and hear this clip, y'all.
Back to when the world knew Trump simply as a real estate mogul and a New York City tabloid fixture.
A big and tasty for just $1? How do you do it? What's your secret? Together, Grimace, we could own this town.
Now Trump is stepping behind the counter at McDonald's, this time for a campaign stop in the battleground state of Pennsylvania.
I'm looking for a job, and I've always wanted to work at McDonald's, but I never did. I'm running against somebody that said she did, but it turned out to be a totally phony story. So if you don't mind, I want to work the French fry counter.
So Trump there once again claiming without evidence that Kamala Harris never worked at McDonald's in the 80s. That dispute inspiring this campaign stop over the weekend. Trump, of course, no stranger to the Golden Arches. His love.
And I believe, didn't McDonald's just release a statement that they had no evidence that she worked there? Come on now, CNN.
Fast food, well documented. In 2019, Trump hosted Clemson's football team after they won the national championship and served up this spread of French fries and burgers at the White House. And during his Sunday visit to McDonald's, Trump again put up.
I love salt. Wait a minute, I spilled some. I'm very superstitious.
Our panel has returned. So I have to say, when I first saw that image of Trump kind of hanging out the drive-through window, a part of me thought, wow, is that real? I never thought he would do something like that.
Trying to not be Donald Trump. Like some politicians go and they try to dress up as somebody they're not. He's still got the red tie. He's still so clearly himself. And I think this was an unbelievably smart move, because one thing that has differentiated Donald Trump from other really wealthy politicians is that he has never been seen as the aloof, the billionaire who would never deign to hang out with the commoners. Like, he has always sort of portrayed himself as, I'm the rich guy who doesn't really like the other rich guys. I'm one of you. And this is part of this. I think this was insanely smart.
Wow. Hope y'all are hearing this. CNN. Yeah.
To that point, it is part of a larger effort on the Trump campaign to sort of soften Donald Trump's image. It's why you've seen his grandkids sort of appearing at the rally and also spoke at the RNC. There's a larger effort going on by the Trump campaign to appeal to some of those suburban women that he's currently losing.
The most humanizing moment in that clip was when he threw the salt over his shoulder. It was like such a normal reaction that anyone was like, oh, like we all do that when you're cooking or whatever. And so that was the most like normalizing and humanizing moment, I think, in this clip. But to your point, like he still has his shirt on, his tie on. Like most politicians would have showed up in like a collared shirt or something that said McDonald's and tried to like more fit in. I did find it striking that the whole restaurant was shut down and it was just sort of like a staged event. But I do think it is definitely like poking at the vice president.
I will also say, though, him showing up with Grimace in that old ad, I bet that gets some more traction, because Grimace is like a thing with Gen Z. Like,
is he?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
all
a thing.
the TikTokers, yeah.
It's a thing.
Oh, see, you guys are cooler than me.
And all this, you know, this was staged or stunt, whatever they want to call it. People do forget who Trump is and how he's had 2 attempts on his life. You know, and going into these, you know, these events and these areas, you know, where he's had not too far away from where this was located, he had an attack attempt on his life. you know. But again, you know how. But again, CNN just praised him. They just praised him in the Trump campaign for this. Didn't see this coming, y'all. Here's JD explaining it way better. Check this out.
And the fact that these people are fake, that is just the genuine person that Donald Trump is. And it's why I think a lot of working people, even though, of course, he's a successful real estate billionaire, have this emotional connection to Donald Trump. You can't make up that kind of connection. Unfortunately, Kamala Harris has tried and failed. And I think it's why her campaign is flailing a little bit right now, is because, you know, she goes into Sheets and does 4 takes of her buying Doritos. Donald Trump just goes into McDonald's and he is who he is, and people love him.
I love this put together.
McDonald's customers were shocked over the weekend after they were greeted by Donald Trump at the drive-through window of a McDonald's restaurant in Philadelphia.
Everybody. Hey, I'm having a lot of fun here, everybody.
Oh my God! Oh my God! You can take this, right?
To having a chat with customers at the drive-through.
I could do this all day. I wouldn't mind this job. I like this job. I think I might come back and do it again.
Thank you.
Look at that.
Mr.
Look at that. How are you?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Nice to see you.
You made it possible for ordinary people like us to meet you.
You're not ordinary.
This is one of my favorite moments, you know, especially when the lady says, "You took a bullet for us. You took a bullet for us." That's one of my favorite moments.
I mean, thank you so much for everything you're doing.
I can see.
We pray for you, and you are the type of person we want to be the president.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
So nice. Thank you very much. Yeah, I took a bullet. That's right.
Thank you, Mr. President.
I took a bullet.
Think about it, I guess that's right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And
A lot of fun here, everybody.
Oh my God! Oh my
Look
God!
at all the fake news over there.
Look at
Hello, everybody.
You can take this,
And
right?
you know this is compliments of Trump, okay?
Yes, thank
Okay.
you. Mr. President,
Yes.
please don't let the United States become Brazil, my native Brazil.
We'll keep it
Please,
big.
please, please.
We're going to make it better than ever, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, Mr.
Compliments
President.
of Trump.
Yes,
Have a good time.
thank you so much.
Thank you over there.
Oh my God, have a great one.
Have a good time.
Thank
Nice
you.
to see
You
you.
too.
Bye,
Nice to
darling.
see you.
Have a good time. Thank you.
And it wasn't only the inside of the McDonald's restaurant that was abuzz. Voters in the key battleground state of Philadelphia lined the surrounding streets, waving flags and cheering USA, USA. Just didn't pass up an opportunity to take swipes at Kamala Harris.
I'm looking for a job, and I've always wanted to work at McDonald's. I never did. I'm running against somebody that said she did, but it turned out to be a totally phony story. So, President Trump! Well, that's a good-looking group. Hello, everybody.
He then made a hilarious quip in response to a reporter's question, saying, "I've now worked for 15 minutes more than Kamala."
I've now worked for 15 minutes more than Kamala.
Are you going to put this on your resume?
I never worked here.
Why would she lie about something like that? Will it be put on your resume?
I worked at McDonald's.
Why would she lie about that?
Why? Because she's lying, Kamala, that's why.
Donald Trump even had a conciliatory moment with the media pack, where he gave them some French fries.
Go ahead. There's plenty of them in there for you, okay? Grab them. You want to move them back? Here.
But MSNBC wasn't convinced. Unsurprisingly, the hosts and guest political advisor Stephen Chung slammed MSNBC, saying, "MSNBC says working at McDonald's is bizarre and strange. This is how Kamala Harris and the elites think of everyday Americans who work everyday jobs." Social media was in meltdown at the footage, with outspoken conservative commentator Riley Gaines saying, "A multi-billionaire is serving at the McDonald's drive-through window. Hilarious. Truly a man of the people."
Yes,
and
indeed. Shout out to
commentator
Riley.
Charlie Kirk
Yeah,
doubled
Charlie.
down on this, saying, "Kamala could never. Oh, that's right. She never did." Al Smith Dinner in hysterics, reveals Sky News host James Morrow.
On to the fun of U.S. politics. And I tell you what, it's been another awful week for the Kamala Harris campaign. Not only did she flail her way through that Fox News interview with Bret Baier, but she also chickened out of going to the annual Al Smith dinner, a gathering in New York of New York City's most prominent Catholics, where traditionally politicians and presidential candidates give each other a bit of a light-hearted roasting. But she didn't show up, which meant that Donald Trump had the field to himself. And I tell you what, he didn't miss.